Hi, this is Dave Lubert from SongTrellis. Today is June 11th, 2015. The purpose of this screencast is going to be to show how the Play Rhythm service of SongTrellis can be used to discover never before heard rhythms, or at least to find ones that are new for you. I'm going to start off by starting up Play Rhythm from the link bar that appears on most SongTrellis pages. If you go to www.songtrellis.com, you'll see this page, and right in the middle of the top line of links, there is a link called Play Rhythm. I'm going to click on that and watch what happens. And we'll clear the screen, and it will. What it's going to do is it's going to make up a rhythm. See, we're calling Play Rhythm and not specifying a particular rhythm. It says, well, you want to hear something, I'll make something up for you. And so it's going to build a description of a rhythm that could be anywhere from 2 beats to 16 beats long. The beats can be subdivided by 3 and by 4. It'll, with greater frequency, divide by 3 or 4, and in a certain number of cases it will mix the two subdivision types in some rhythms, like about 15-20% of the time. Have a little problem here in that my browser didn't get the plugin started. If you see that happen, what you'd want to do is cause a refresh. And actually, I'd like to hear this rhythm that came up, so I'm going to say, yeah, just launch it again. Pressing that button does that. It'll redraw with exactly the rhythm it did last time, and it'll start. It thinks that it wants QuickTime. Here we go. Jazz plugin, please. You know, this is not good behavior that I'm showing you, but it'll be fixed soon. Okay, so what we have here is a 6-beat rhythm. Each beat is divided in 3. Some of the hits in the subdivisions are silent. The ones that are not playing anything are starred. We do have a click track playing, so when you there'll always be a sound on the beat, and you'll hear this woodblock sound happen there. I can very quickly turn that off. As soon as I eliminate the click track, you no longer hear any sounds where the stars are in that pattern. Okay, what do the X's mean? The X's mean that we're using a sound that is generic. It's not telling us to play a particular hit on a hand drum. It's just saying, hey, we're picking a representative sound, and we're making all of the hits of the rhythm that we invented happen with that sound. The string that was made up to describe this thing, you'll see that there's a one-to-one correspondence between zeros and stars in this pattern, and another one-to-one correspondence between those that are ones in the string description and the X in the box notation. So zero means make a sound. 1 means 0 means do not make a sound. 1 means do make a sound. And in the box notation, 0 says we're being silent. X means we're making a generic sound. So this is really the description for that thing. Okay, so what can we do with it? Well, we have a 6-beat rhythm. Let's make a 7-beat rhythm. And so the way that I signal that in this description string that we're going to need a new beat is I put a dash at the end, and then I type symbols. And I'm going to maintain the division in 3 even in the 7th beat. And the pattern I'm going to use is 1-0-1. So let's hear what happens when we do that. Okay, just extended it, and so one more beat is in play. And I'll play the click tracks. That'll give us maybe a more a clear indication of what the rhythm is about. A lot of the sensation of that a rhythm creates has to do with where are these hits happening with respect to the regular beat of the rhythm cycle. So some of these hits are right on the beat and they just echo that. Others are happening immediately before and immediately after. So the ones immediately before sound like they are leading into the hits on the beat. Let's listen. Oh, it's a nice pattern. We can continue to add on to it. I just add another dash and I'll go 1 1 1. So all of a sudden we'll be extremely busy at the very end. So we'll have 4 hits in a row to end this rhythm cycle when we wrap around the beginning. I like this rhythm, and it's worth. I think it's worth keeping. Okay, so there is a part of SongTrellis that is called the Rhythm Web, and that is a compendium of recommended rhythms. So people have played around with Play Rhythm and found rhythms that they liked, and found an arrangement of those rhythms that they like. And when they find one, they say, "Hey, I'd like to recommend that." And it makes it real easy. When a new rhythm comes in, it instantly checks to see, "Hey, has this been recorded yet in the Rhythm Web?" It's not say, "Hey, you want to recommend this?" And we're trusting that people aren't going to be giving us ugly sounding rhythms. They're going to be ones that they think have some value, or that they something about it piques their interest, and they'd like to be able to study it later. So when they find one like that, they say, "Yes, I'd like to recommend it." It'll talk to the server for a second and say, "Okay, here's the news on this one." And so it'll redraw that. It says, "Okay, this hasn't been caught before in the Rhythm Web. Now SongTrellis visitors will hear it thanks to the recommendation. Here's what the credits will say." So if you recommend it, you get credit for it. It says, "Hey, this was first recommended on Thursday, July 11th, 2015 at 10:07 p.m. by David Lubert. The URL that was used to submit this was this one." So there's the definition string 011101110, etc. It was played at a beat per minute, a tempo of 111 beats per minute. We submitted it with the click track, and if this was showing, well, it actually does show sheet music below, and it's saying, "Hey, we're going to be treating this as though we have a quarter note pulse." And so, since we have 8 beats in the rhythm, this is going to be notated as 8 quarters. And there we go. And then the question is, well, what else do you want to do with this rhythm? Well, one thing that could be done, I'm going to pause it for a second. One thing that could be done is we could decide to orchestrate this rhythm. So right now we're using generic pitches. Everything is this is a kind of a with respect to the sounds that are being played, it's kind of a one-dimensional string of sound. No variation in pitch, and we're going to change that. Okay, first I'm going to change 0 to a synonym. Instead of 0, I'm going to change all zeros in this string to star. The reason being that let me explain this. How do I explain this properly? The thing is, when I was designing this, when I can pretty easily read the description string of one of these generic descriptions when it's done as ones and zeros. At ones and stars, for some reason, that didn't have the same. It was much harder to read and much harder to interpret. So when I'm first seeing the initial specification of rhythm, I don't want to see it with stars, and it just looks like a bunch of a bunch of ones with some chicken scratch in between, and that's not good. But when it's time to orchestrate, then it's better to, the zero. Okay, the big problem is that one of the really important hits in hand drum rhythms is the tone, which is represented by the letter O, and if you mix O's and zeros, you've got really bad problems in trying to you can tell if you know what you're looking at which is which in the string, but it's extremely confusing and takes a long time to decipher. So what I do here is I change the zeros to stars, and then I use the specific drum hits and craft the rhythm that way. So I'm just going to try something. I'm going to use a tone, and I'll start off with tone tone, and we'll change to bass, and we'll have an isolated hit. Actually, I'll have a hit that'll go back to tone in the third beat, and do not really have an idea. I'm not pre-hearing what's going on in this rhythm. I am trying things. I have some idea of how the density of changes that should that to make the rhythm interesting, and that just comes with experience. And I'm going to go OBO. Okay, so this is one of thousands of orchestrations that could be done with that particular rhythm outline. So when we're done here, you're going to see that everything that's a star is still a star in the box notation, but all the X's will change to one of the symbols that I've selected, and the shape of the rhythm will be exactly as it was before. It's just that we're going to be moving, figuratively moving our hands around the drum to select different sounds and to make a interesting and more complex experience for the listener. As soon as I click outside of this of the type-in box, that the web page will notice that and interpret the string and generate new box notation and a new performance to match that. Here we go. So it goes to the server. Depending on how we're loaded, it will come back with it, and usually it's 3, 4, or 5 seconds. Okay, see, I got lucky. I tried this rhythm, and I do totally like it. And so I'm going to recommend this too. So the outline is known. That's been recorded in the rhythm web. And say, hey, record this too. Record this particular orchestration. And here we go. And I'll come back in a second and say, hey, we haven't found this orchestration anyplace. Here we go. This hasn't been caught. It does know that signature. So I have a terminology for that rhythm that expresses just the patterns of silences and hits within the thing. I call that stripped down rhythm the signature rhythm for an orchestration. So here's the orchestration. The fact that we're using tones and basses and slaps in a certain pattern. But when we just say, hey, we don't care what the hit, how you express the hit, the pattern of hits that actually hits and silences used, that's characteristic of this rhythm, is done by playing this signature rhythm. And I think I'm going to pause this, and I will say launch that signature, and let's hear it. And what it's going to tell us is, hey, that we know about this one. This and it's actually the very first thing that we submitted to the rhythm web during this session. So we'll come over here and take a look, and here it is. Same thing as we had before. It has the same problem with the plugin not being recognized, but I'll start it up again. And that will be good. Oh, please. So what's going on here is that there's some subtleties between deciding whether the QuickTime plugin that is loaded on the system is actually able to play MIDI or not. And under certain circumstances, my code's getting confused and saying, yeah, that QuickTime can do it, so let's put a selection up for it. And then it's saying, when it actually tries starting QuickTime, it says, it's not, this thing refused to handle MIDI. So I'll get that fixed in a short amount of time, and you shouldn't see this in a week or two, I'm guessing. Anyway, neither here nor there. Pause that. So let's go back to our original rhythm. Okay, so we have now put this the skeleton or this signature into the rhythm web, and we've also come up with an orchestration that's in the rhythm web. Let's go look at the rhythm web. Open in a new tab. And it says, okay, as of this instant, there are 2,984 rhythms listed in the rhythm web, classified different ways. I'm going to look at the rhythms by date of recommendation. And I think it'll say that there are 4 or 5 that were recommended today. I think I pretty much did all of them. Okay, 6/11/2015 on Thursday. Look at that HTML. I did 3 of them. Okay, so what do we have? Okay, now in this particular instance, the missing plugin is not. I have to actually rewrite this this panel. When QuickTime is available, then this would be playing. This would be showing a QuickTime player, and I have just recently started to use the Jazz MIDI player. I'm trying to propagate that throughout the site, and there's still features on the site that aren't using that yet. So that when you are using the Jazz player like I am doing right now, you'll see missing plugins show up. It doesn't block your access to ideas though that are in the rhythm. These are links. As soon as you touch one of these links, the rhythm page corresponding will launch. So I'll launch first this one that we haven't seen before. The one that I did about 20 minutes before I started this this web broadcast. Start it up. Come here. Take a look. Play rhythm. This was if I remember right, a 7-beat rhythm, divided in triplets, in 3s, and busy in the front, and with a lot of space at the end of it. So where the beat just goes by without any hits happening. Just a little pickup to lead around to the front. Okay, very good. Let's go listen to our. The second one will launch our signature of the rhythm we invented. Okay. And let's pause that. And we'll go back and we will. Let's see, why did that happen? That's quite peculiar. Okay. So I'm going to go back. Do it by date, please. Okay, there it is. So here's the one with our orchestration. Okay, good. Okay, now I'm going to show how to do a multi-voice rhythm, and I haven't really demonstrated how to build a new rhythm from scratch, so I'm going to do that right now. First thing I'm going to do, okay, so I having an existing rhythm cycle up in the rhythm page, it's very possible to just delete an original the previous definition and type a new one. And I'm going to do first a friend of mine, and today we were working on a rhythm called Home from West Africa, due to musician Aaron Vilat, and we're practicing this together, and I'm going to type in 2 of the parts of that rhythm that we thought sounded pretty good. So it's a let's see, 1, 2, 3. It's a 6-part rhythm, and we were trying to realize 2 or 3 or 4 of those different rhythms as we were playing together would switch from one to the other, and try to make a performance out of that. And tons of fun, and it sounded really good too. Anyway, the part that I was playing early this afternoon was this. It had a tone, a gap, a bass, and a slap. Then two rests, 2 tones, and we filled out our second beat. Third beat was a tone, a star, bass, slap, and the 4th beat was star, star, tone, tone. And this is actually an 8-beat cycle, so I will do it again. We continue on. I need 4 more beats to be defined. 0 star, Baker's bass star, and an S, a slap, tone, tone, and tone, star, bass, slap. And what I'm doing, what I'm looking at here to do this is there's a printed notation that my friend had written out on his computer, and I'm just transcribing that. So there is my line, the one that I was playing this afternoon. So okay, playing too fast, and looks like I'm missing 1 bit of beat punctuation. So I'm going to slow it down to 80. Yeah, okay. So here it is. It's supposed to be an 8-beat rhythm, and I've made everything. I basically combined the specifications for beat 4 and 5 and to have it happen inside of 1 beat. So I will go in between there. What am I doing? 1, 2 should be there. And I have 1 too many in that, it looks like. 0 bass, 0 star, bass star. Okay, got it. So I had one too many rests in beat 4, not only, despite also along with gluing it together with beat 5. Now we'll revise this, and now we should have a good representation of the part. Okay. Listening to that rhythm, I got lost in understanding what was going on with this. So this rhythm is actually fairly fairly repetitive. The main part of it is dot 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 dot. They slap 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 dot dot dot. They slap. So the big difference is it does tone tone tone. They slap 3 times, and then the 4th time, which happens here in the middle, is tone bass slap. Instead of running the bass and slap together, it puts time shifts the slap so that it happens 1 hit later, and draws every part of that utterance. Makes it separate. So anyway, that is that part. Okay, so let's hear what my friend was playing, and for that we need to add a new part to our rhythm. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to begin with, I'm just going to type a comma, and I'll type the first 2 beats of his rhythm, which was tone tone star slap star bass bass star. And so we're gonna, when I tell the interpreter, the play rhythm service to understand this, it'll draw out box notation, but it won't. Part 1 will be longer than part 2. Then they're not the same time, so it will decline to play that. It's hard to make the reason, we could think, can I play? No, it actually is. It says I'm going to show it. I can't show it. I'm not going to make this play because I can't properly animate this. But we do what we've done by adding the comma and adding new symbols is we actually have a type-in field now for our second rhythm, and no big problem to, in just a few more seconds, get it completely written out. So is it tone star slap star bass? Yeah, bass star, and now new beat bass tone tone star. And this thing, my part was going on for eight beats. His was only going for 4 beats, and it was just repeating it again. So I just copied everything for beats 1, 2, 3, 4, and I still was making the same error that I was doing earlier. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Copy all that. Put it at the end. Click, and we'll grow the type-in box, and the rhythm should be of the same in both voices. There we go. And so that's how it kind of sounded together.